Python and Django today. So if there are any questions from yesterday, or if you had any challenges while you were doing your own practical section, and if you were able to replicate what we did yesterday, you can also present and show. So we use the next 10 to 15 minutes to just do that, and then we proceed to doing the Python and then Django today. So the floor is open if anyone has any challenges or anything. Or if you're able to do what we did yesterday, just let us have a look and then we proceed from there.
Yeah, for example, for myself, what can I take like is a kind of challenge for me right now is how to make like how to work on terminal to like yesterday, I show you the way we are doing. For example, the browser and Visual Basic. So when you make some exchange on your code, and you have to save it and to update on the browser before seeing what you are doing. But how can we do that on Windows, like by shell or by MCD command, if like using the IP to come to host to get this local host, dog and port, the number of port can be 50, like you do yesterday. You did
Okay.
yesterday. Yeah.
Yes.
I
So we
I'm
can do a
trying to
walkthrough.
do it. Okay.
So you can share your screen and then I'll guide you through since we are using the
Okay.
next 5 to 10 minutes to do that.
So what I'm saying is like let me open the vision, or it's already open. So like yesterday I said that what we do is when I come here, I know where I have my exercise. When I open it, I can open it with that one. So I'm able to make, when I go on the visual
That is
code,
nice.
yeah. So for example, if I have to write something, hello, I say Control S to save it and come here to actualize. So, but here you don't have this IP
IP.
number. Yeah, but I know
Okay.
that, for example, to get it, I can use GitHub. I can use GitHub to do that, or using here CMD, or
Yes.
so I think CD something, and maybe the name of where I have this one.
So you can just copy the path from the top. So double click on the web
Okay, okay,
application.
okay, okay. Here,
Yes. And then
copy.
copy that and then do a CD into that.
Here like that.
Yeah, so do a CD before. So
Okay,
CD is
CD.
change directory
Okay,
and
CD
then
espace,
yes, then space.
espace,
Yeah.
space, and
And then you
pasta. Okay, like that.
yeah,
Yeah, good. I get it.
yes.
So the
So
next step
yeah,
is what?
to open it in Visual Studio Code. So you can do a
Oh,
code dot
code.
or you can navigate to the directory you want. So which your folder is exercise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can do. another CD, and then exercise.
Okay.
So you don't even need to copy the whole part. Since you're already in the directory for
In
web,
the folder.
yes, so
Okay.
you just do a CD,
CD
type
space.
space, and a capital E, and you hit the tab key.
Exercise. Okay.
Capital E.
Let me
Yep.
see how I write it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
It,
Okay. So from there you can go in there and then yeah, so you have day one. So if you want to navigate to day one, so you do the same thing.
I have to write CD also.
Yes. So CD is
CD.
basically you changing the directory to a different directory.
Okay.
Yes. So
Here,
from here, yes, you do a code dot. So CODE for Visual Studio
CD,
Code and then a dot
COD
space. Yes, space
space
dot and then a full stop, a period dot.
like
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yes. And that will open the
Wow.
Visual Studio Code. Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
once you are here, I don't know if you have the live server extension on. So you can go and check your extensions. So on the left
Extension.
hand side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, the fifth one.
Which
Yes,
one?
yes, that's it. Extension. Then live server,
Okay.
LIVE server.
This one.
Okay. Yes, you already have it installed. So what you have to do is now. Oh yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
down there. So at the bottom right hand side, beside the HTML, you can see go live.
Go live. Go.
No, in the Visual Studio Code, bottom right.
Okay. Like that.
No, the bottom right, at the lower part of
Bottom.
the screen.
Okay.
Lower part where we have the date and time.
Data.
You see a go live icon down there. Go live.
Here.
Nope. So
On the right
uh,
hand or on left
on
hand.
the right hand side, the lower part of the screen. Lower. Come down one.
Here, here.
Yeah, go live. Yeah.
Here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So
Hello.
allow access. Yeah. So now that gives you the
Ah,
port.
yeah. Survey is started at port 5. Okay.
Yes. So then
Ah,
you can open the browser and then do that.
okay. Okay. So localhost. No need to write for localhost
You can write
or
the local host. You have to write the local host or use it's 127 dot. So local host or yeah. Then colon. No, you need a colon.
okay.
So colon 5500.
Um, localhost. Sorry. Uh-huh. Like that.
No, a colon. The two periods, the two dots.
Okay. The two dogs. Okay. Like
Yep.
that.
Yes. Then 5500.
5500.
Yep.
Like that. Okay.
Yes.
It.
That.
Something happened. Okay, errors, remaining pending connection, localhost,
No,
and
no, you
it
don't
is
need the HTTPS. Just take the HTTPS part out since it's a local connection. So in the URL, take the HTTPS out and then No. So the first part,
Mm.
yeah, take the first part before the local host. Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, thank you very much.
You're
I
welcome.
got it. Mm.
Yeah. So that is how to start up
So,
the live server. And then anytime you want to run it, you just do the same thing. So you just click on the live server. So you click on the go live, that gives you a port,
okay,
and then you start.
okay, okay, good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, another question
Yes.
for someone who who want to ask question. Est-ce que quelqu'un veut poser une question? Ou bien tout est OK? Okay, Emmanuel, you have the floor. You can start to make your training.
Okay. All right. So good morning once again. And then today our main focus will be on the Python and then the Django framework. So I'll get started by sharing my screen, and then we would have to walk through the installation of Python. So first, let me share my screen. Share screen. Um, is my screen visible? Can my screen be seen? Hello?
Yes,
I can see.
Okay. All right. So Python is a programming language which is used for a lot of things. So you can use it for machine learning, you can use it for website development, you can use it for mathematicals, you can use it for software development, system scripting, a whole lot. And then with Python, it mostly comes installed on most operating systems. So for Mac, it comes installed by default. So to check if you have Python installed, you can just do Python dash version, and that will give you a Python version. I think the current Python version is Python 3.11 or so. So let me. Oh, it's Python 12. Okay. So this is the Python website, and then when you go in there, you have the opportunity to download it for your operating system. So Python works on Windows, Mac, Linux, Raspberry Pi, embedded systems. You can use it any and everywhere. So just as we did yesterday, to install, like we installed the Visual Studio Code, to install for Python, you just go to the python.org website, click on the downloads, and then you download for your operating system. So for Mac OS, you just click on the download Python button. And I think for Windows, it will change to another one. So let me put the URL in the chat so we can all get Python downloaded if you don't have it. To check on Windows, I think you can just do the command prompt. You open the command prompt and you type the same command as I have here, Python dash version, and that will let you know if you have the Python installed. So have we been able to check? Can I get a thumbs up if you've been able to check and you have Python installed?
Hello, Emmanuel, can you come again, please?
I am asking if you can open the command
Mm-hmm.
prompt and check if you have Python installed, then you give a thumbs up.
Yeah, of course I have it. Okay,
Yes.
I have it.
Okay. So if anyone
Mm.
has it, they can just give a thumbs up. And I think someone had a question.
Okay.
Joshua had a question. His hand was up. Joshua, please proceed.
No, I don't have a question. I have Python installed.
Oh, okay. Great.
Um, this is what V like that.
Python, Python dash dash V.
Uh, Python.
V dash dash version. So it's dash dash version. Okay. So, okay. Okay, please, do you all have Python?
I have it. I have it. I have it.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
For those who don't have it, my colleague will go through the installation on Windows, so we all have a familiar idea of how to install it and then set it up. So I'll give the screen to Gideon to share.
What they say?
Okay. Yeah. Yep, you have Python. Okay. So I think Gideon will share the screen now and then to walk us through how to install Python.
Good morning once again to everyone. I hope you can all see my screen.
Yes, we can.
All right. So what Timona was saying earlier on to check your Python version, which is Python, you open the CMD command prompt, Python dash dash version to check if you have Python installed. I don't have Python installed over here, so I'll go through the installation. It says Python was not found. So you go to the python.org, www.python.org. Then you go to downloads. There's a downloads button here. You click on download for Windows. I've already downloaded it just now. Once you click on it, it will download for you the installer. I hope those who don't have Python installed have already been able to download the installer. I guess that means everyone has already downloaded it, so I'll proceed. So you just double click on the installation. It gives you a prompt whether to run or cancel. You just click on run. Then it gives you an option whether to install. All right, it gives you this one to install now or customize. I'll choose the install now. It's also over here, down here, we can see we have use admin privileges when installing Python, and we also have add Python to exe. You'd have to add that. It's very important to take that. For this, if you want, you can take that to add admin privileges. But I'll take on that. Then you click on install now. Another prompt pops up. You just click yes. Then it starts the installation for you. All right, so it says setup was successful. Yes. So that's all for installing Python. So I'll go to my CMD and check if it has been installed. Run the Python dash dash bash again. Let me close and start again. Python dash dash bash. Yeah, now it says Python 3.12.6. So now I have Python installed. I hope we were all able to install it. All right. If you had any challenges, you can let us know so that we help you out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Gideon. So from here, I'll just take over and then share my screen, and we'll still be using the Visual Studio code. Okay, so I'll navigate to the folder where I have my Okay, I think I'll have to zoom in again. All right. Okay, so first we'll create. We can use our command prompt in here to run files or run applications, but then we'll use a new file. We'll call the file hello world dot file. So to make any file a Python file, you need to add the extension .py. So as we had our CSS being .css, we can have, and we had the HTML file as .html. And also to make it a Python file, you need to add the py, which makes it a Python file. And automatically, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you have Python as the name there. So the language selected is Python. All right. We'll try some simple commands. So the first command we'll try is the print command. So the print command is used to output any information you want for in the terminal or in the console for any user to see. So let's say we want to say hi. So you put in the single quotes or the double quotes and you say hi. We are having training training item and go. So we save our file and then we can open a terminal. In our terminal, you can run the file by doing Python and then the name of the file, which is the hello world. Right. And we get our output. Hi, we are having a training in Python and Django. Okay. Also, in programming languages, we have a set of rules we follow, and mostly we are using them for mathematical calculations and stuff like that. So, one thing I would want us to learn first is a variable. So, what is a variable? A variable is basically a container used to store data. So, a container used to store data is a variable. And in Python, you input the name of the character you want to use to save your variable, and then you output it using the print. So let's say I want, say, name, and then we put an equal to sign, which is the assignment operator, and then we put in the name manual. So for programming, anything on the right hand side is being assigned to the variable on the left hand side. So in this case, the variable name becomes the container for Emmanuel. Same thing, we can say x equal to 100. Now, it doesn't mean x is the number 100. It means x is the container for the number 100. To see this, you can do our print statement again. As we remember, we said print is to output information. So we want to print name. We come into our terminal and do the same thing. We do a Python hello world. Now we have the name being printed. If we want to print for X, we do the same thing and we run the application, we have 100. Okay. There is something we call data types. Data types in any programming language is just to tell the variable which is storing the data that this is a particular format. So we have data in quotes, which is a written word, is termed as a string. X will be termed as an integer. So let me put in comments here. Comments, so we say data types. And we should note this is very useful when we start doing our Django, because if we are calling information for maybe a user's name, we don't have to save it to the different data type. You can't save a user's name as an integer. It doesn't work that way. You can't have the name as a number. And also, although you can name variables anything you want, it is advisable to name it to something you can easily remember. So data types, we have the string. We have the string data type, string, which is the str, and that is a string. This would be an integer. So this is an integer. Oh, let me do this instead. There we go. The numerical types. This is an integer. And let's say y is equal to 200 minus 3. And since it's a decimal, we call it a float. If you are coming from a Java or a C++ or any structured language background, you would say this might be a float or a double. So this is a float. So it's a 19. Then the floats or decimal. So the brackets indicates what is being used if you are trying to reference that data type. There are a whole lot of data types, and then we have a reference to them. When we are done, we have a list too. So list is basically like an array. So a container containing groups of variables. So we can have, let's say, groups. So let's give the list and say groups. And then go. Then arrange it. So let's print out the fruits and have a look. So we notice for the fruits, it comes in the form of an array, like a list. That is the first element, second element. And to see what data type you have, you do a print. And then in the print statement, you do a type and you put in whatever variable you have. Put in the fruits. And then we run our script again. And it says of type list. Let's do the same thing for X. Let me see. X is an integer. If we do for Y, says it's a float. Let's do for name. And name is a string. So yeah, there are many types of data types we have. So we have the strings, the tuple, the list, the range, the dictionary, sets, the boolean, which is a true or false. Then we have bytes. We have memory values. We have a lot. And assuming you want to specify a specific value, like a specific data type for the value you are going to store, you can say, let's say, person is the name of a variable. And we say that is going to be a string. And then we pass in the value. So medium. So in this case, we can't do person and say person is one. because we've said person should be a string, you shouldn't change person to a number. It is not advisable. Once you specify the data type, you should try as much as possible to maintain that data type. Okay. All right. So this is just a brief introduction to Python. We'll do a quick walkthrough the installation of the Django environments, and then whilst we are doing that, we'll just take you guys through how to install a Python virtual environment, what the virtual environment does. Then we'll also walk you through how to get Django installed. Once you have that, we have a presentation on the Django framework, which we'll do, and then we'll do a hands-on after that. So I'll hand over to Gideon to take us through the initial stages of the virtual environment and also the Django framework. So Gideon, you have the mic.
All right, thank you, Mando. So we'll begin with the virtual environments, installation of the virtual environments. So with Django, before you can run your application, you need a virtual environment to run your application in. So the virtual environment is basically a container where you run all your applications. So with a container, you can run different Django versions and Python versions. So imagine you have 3 projects and you want to run all on the same machine. If you do not have a virtual environment and you install, let's say, Django 3.2, and for the other project, you need a Django 4.2, that becomes very difficult to do. That's why we normally use the virtual environments to containerize all your applications. So with a virtual environment, you can have, let's say, as many virtual environments as you want. So with one virtual environment, you install Django 3.2 in there for that specific project. Then for the other projects, you can install other Django versions as well and Python versions, any application you may need over there. And Django is a Python framework. Let me project.
Please, we don't see your screen now.
I'm yet to share my screen.
Okay. Good.
Yes. So Django is a high-level Python web framework, which is built on Python, as we all know. So there are various frameworks. We have Laravel for PHP, Django for Python. For JavaScript, we have React, Next.js, and Angular. There are a whole lot of frameworks, but we normally use Django here because of its robustness and how secured and open source. Also, it's open source, free for everyone to use. That's also one great. Also, it's scalable. It's scalable and flexible with excellent documentation. Also, it comes with an admin interface. So with most of the frameworks, you would have to start from scratch, but with Django, it comes with an admin interface, making it easy for you to use. Also, okay. So we'll go to the model MVT pattern of Django. So Django is structured in a way that we have the model, the view, and the templates. So the models are basically where we keep the database structure. That's for structuring your database. Maybe you need specific fields. Let's say you are creating a user. For the user, you need the first name, last name, and then email. That's where you are able to structure that in the model. Then we have the view. The view is basically where you write all your logics. Um, that's where you query. If you want to query all users, if you want to query a specific user, whatever you want to do, that's where you do that. And then you serve your templates also from there. So the views allow you to serve your templates to the front end. That's um, so the templates are basically the HTML. The HTML we just learned. Templates contains the HTML we just learned. So if you want to do a calendar, a table, that's where you do all that basically. And with a view, you are able to send all the data you query. Let's say you query users from your database. You are able to save that to the templates. So you have a dynamic user interface. And so we would have a brief, let me give you a brief introduction to how it looks like. So with Django, when a user goes to a URL, and then let's say you go to Facebook, for instance, you go to Facebook, it hits the server, then it goes through Nginx. Normally we use Nginx, then it goes to the URL, that's facebook.com. Then it gets the view from the URL, it goes to the view. So what should that page do? Should that page serve you the users, or should it get you a profile or the followers you have? So that's where that logic comes in. Then the view gets the model and then serves you with a template as well. Yeah. So as I said earlier on, the virtual environment, that's it gives you it helps you to isolate your projects and dependencies. So you are able to run several applications on the same machines without having any crashes or anyone clashing with any other project. So you can have Python 3.2 in one project and have Python 2 point something in another as well. Then, so creating the virtual environment. Okay, let's walk through creating the virtual environments. Just a minute. Trying to share.
Okay, so I'll take over from here, and then we'll walk through the creating of the virtual environments. Um, First of all, you need to open your command prompt terminal. You navigate to where you want the virtual environment to be. So the command is almost the same on both machines to create the virtual environments. So first, you need to make sure you have Python installed. So you do your Python dash version again, just to confirm. If you want to update the Python version to you can. And I'm okay with what I have now. So I'll do Python. Then we do -m, which is our model. Then we call the virtual environment model. And then we name our environment Geospatial. So we can name it anything we want. So provided you don't forget and you know this is your virtual environment, you name it like that. So once you hit enter, it will go through and create a folder in there for you with the same name, GeoVNV. So I have a folder here, and also in my day two, I have a folder called GeoENV. Mind you, once you do that, it tells you we've noticed a new virtual environment has been created. Do you want to select that for your workspace folder? You can choose to press yes or no. But then basically what that includes is configurations for your application. So you have your bin, which has your Python installed, and then it has all your other scripts. And then you have your libraries and then your packages, which go into that same application. I'll continue to use the terminal here to proceed. If you have any questions, you can interrupt and then. If you have any questions, you can let me know and then I'll pause to explain it further. Okay. To activate your virtual environment, for Linux and Mac, you do a source, then the name of the virtual environment, which is GeoENV. And then inside the GeoENV, we have a folder called bin, and then we have activate. So you do GeoENV bin and then activate. Once you do that, pay attention to the left-hand side of my terminal. Once you activate the virtual environment, it gives you the virtual environment name in here. So if you are familiar with Anaconda, the Python application Anaconda, it gives you a virtual environment called base. Mostly it gives you base. So once you activate your virtual environment, it gives you the environment you've created in a bracket. So here we can do Python dash version again. And then you can see we still have the same Python environment, the Python version. You can also do pip, which is the Python package installer. So we do pip dash version. And that tells us we have a pip version of 2.1.2.4. Okay. So now we have our environment setup. The next step is to get our Django application run. So for all developers, our help or our guideline is mostly through the developer's website, the documentation site. So for the documentation site for Django, you have to go to the Django project. If I remember correctly, let me see, Django project. Yeah, so it's www.djangoproject.org. And that gives you the Django framework. You can go into the documentation and that will walk you through from scratch, the overview, the installation. So this is also a useful, this is a useful page to have. So I'll put that also in the, I'll put that in the chat. Um, okay. So we go into installation. It says to install Django. You need to go either through the official route, which is using the official release from pip. So we can do a python-m pip install Django. On Windows, the same thing, py-m pip install Django. So in your command prompt, when you have your virtual environment activated, you can do a pip install, then you do Django. Once you do that, it goes in and collects Django that is compatible with your version of Python you are using. So currently my version of Python is the 9.3.9, which supports at most Django 4.2. If your Python version is higher than that, you would have it being different. Okay, so I think I'll let Gideon also run through how this is done on Windows so that it gives a demo of what it looks like in Windows. So I'll hand over the sharing to Gideon to take over for that.
Just a minute, I'm sharing my screen. I hope you can all see my screen. All right, so I'll start with the creation of the virtual environment. I've already opened my Visual Studio Code. So I'll change directory to my desktop. So that's CD desktop. Now I am on my desktop, so I would like to create a folder where I'll be doing today's work. So let's make dir A2. I'll change directory to A2, the new folder I just created. From there, I'll create my virtual environment, which is Python-m venv, then space, then the name of the virtual environment, however I want to name the virtual environment, which I'll name my geovenv. So it's being created. Okay, it's done created. So to activate it for Windows, to activate your virtual environment, that's the name of the virtual environment I just created. So the geovenv, then /scripts/activate.bat. I'm using PowerShell, so it doesn't show that it has been activated, but I think it has been activated. If I should use command prompt and I cd to the desktop, cd desktop /b2, b-2, and then the name of the virtual environment I created, venv/scripts/activate.bat. So with a command prompt, it shows here that it has been activated. That's a geovenv right here. Also, in VS Code, you can change your terminal. So currently, I was using Python shell. You can change it over here to command prompts. Then do it here so that in PowerShell you are not able to see if your env has been activated. It has been activated here, but it doesn't show. So I'll just do that here. will be slash scripts slash activate update. All right. So my virtual environment has been activated. All right, so I'll check the version of my Python version. So Python dash version. I have Python 3.12.6. That's a current version. Then I'll do a pip install Django. So since my virtual environment has been activated, I can install my Django, which is pip install Django. But then I can add the version I want. So I'll install Django 4.2. So it's installing Django 4.2 for me. So you can install any version of Django you want for that specific project. So it's taking, okay, it's done installing. Yes. So you can also check your Django version. That's Django dash version. It's supposed to be a capital T. Python dash. Oops. Let me check something real quick.
Gideon,
Yes.
please, I have a quick question about the folder where you are registered Django. Like, I know that, for example, if we install some app or soft, we refer to program file because it is the repository that usually people install soft. So here I see that you refer to one folder which is in desktop, and it refer only on D2. So why I'm asking this question? Because, for example, if I install Django, I have to use it all the time for the other projects. So, and I think if we install it, it will go, it is only one time that we have to install, and maybe we just have to refer to the extension to start to work on that. So why we can't install it directly on C driver, maybe in one or two folder in C drive directly?
So earlier on, we said that with Django, let's say if you have multiple projects, once you install it on the drive C, it will be very difficult to change your Django version. So if I should, currently I installed 4.2. So if I should run a Django application, which is 3.2, that will give me a lot of errors because the application was built with Django 3.2. Therefore, I won't be able to run it, which will give me several errors. So that's why we use the virtual environment to be able to run multiple projects based on that particular Django version. So once you install it, the Django 4.2 on the drive C, it will be very difficult to run another Django version on there. I think Emmanuel's hand is up.
Okay,
Okay.
so Gaba, what I wanted to add to it is, so assuming today you have Django, the most current version of Django is 5.1. In the next 2 or 3 years, it wouldn't be the
Mhm.
same thing. And
Mhm.
then at that time, you had already installed the Django 5.1 as your main Django setup on your full machine, like the C drive or something. When it
Mhm.
comes, when you come back after 3 or 4 years, and then or 2 years, at most a year, and you have changed, the Django version has changed, and now you want to
Mhm.
run applications that are supporting the new Django version, you
Okay.
would find it difficult to do that.
Okay.
You find it difficult to do that. So I'll give a demo. So let me also do. I'll share my screen and give a demo about that with your consent and show you something.
Okay.
Alright. So sharing my screen. So currently I have the Django installed on this virtual environment, which is the Django 4.1.2. 4.2, sorry. If I deactivate my virtual environment and then create a new virtual environment, which is going to be Python -mv and say um, new, or
Mhm.
let me say old, old, old Django VMV. So, so this is the old Django VMV. So this is the virtual environment I'm creating now.
Mhm.
Then
Yeah.
I come in here and activate this particular virtual environment. So first old Django VMV and activate. I have this now. In
Mhm.
this, I can now install my virtual environment for like my Django for the old one. So I can do a Django install and then
Mhm.
do
Okay.
a pip
Right.
install Django version 3. Let me check
Okay.
3.0.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Okay.
So notice, although it's the same Python version, so let me do let's do a Python dash dash version. We have the same Python version 3.9.6. But here, when we check the version for the Django, we notice it's different.
Yeah, different. Mhm.
Yes. So if you have a particular application that you are running with a particular a specific virtual environment requirements, so like you have a set of requirements that you install together with the Django, or maybe any other framework you are using or any other software. So if I do a pip freeze here, it'll give me a list of all the requirements I have. Right. So I'll try and split this into two. So we have this as the one for the old Django. I'm going to do the same command, but this time activating the new virtual environment, which is the GeoVenv. So I'll put so I need to activate source GeoVenv and activate. All right. So in this terminal one, let me try and do this. In terminal one, we have to click freeze. Uh, Notice the Django versions are different.
Yeah, I get it.
And then there are some requirements that are here that are not there. This one, for instance, is in the old requirement because Django 3.0 might need it. But in the new one, it wouldn't need it. So assuming I have an application that I built 2 years ago with Django 3.0, and then I now give you that application, and I don't give you the requirements, and I don't give you anything that I installed within the virtual environment I used to build it, you will have a hard time trying to run the application because when you start running it, assuming you run it now, you have Python Django 5.1 as your Django environment. And then the Django 3.0 application I give you doesn't know about Django 5.1. So you start running into errors that you don't even understand. And it will take
Yeah,
you hours and days to figure that one out.
yeah, I get this problem on air programming. Sometimes when we start to work on one project, it say that to refer to the old version. This
Yeah.
package don't work on this version, this new
Yeah.
version. So
Yeah.
for that, we need to go back for the old version to use that.
Exactly. So that
I
is
get
that
it.
is one that's one of the reasons why we always recommend, because day in and day out we are building new things. As developers, we don't stick to one thing. So once you are done, at least try to get all your requirements and everything within a single file.
Okay.
And when you have everything in that particular file, you can now assume the role of like everything is okay. And when you are sharing the file, you share the file with its requirements.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any questions or confusions from that, so we can just resolve that before we proceed?
I have a question. Can you please commit and push the day two codes what you are doing in the GitHub? So since I joined late, that will help me to create environments for this training for my own, so in my machine
Okay.
to follow it properly. Thank you. So I'll get all the updates. Thank you.
Okay. All right. We'll do that.
You can continue, Gideon.
Okay. So from here, the next thing to do is to start running your Django application. So we won't use this anymore. We are going to use the, in fact, let me just try updating my Django version and my Python version to see if I can get on the most recent one, and then we'll use that together since we'll all be, just to find out, are we all on the same Python version, the most recent one?
My version is, are you asking me? My version is here, I think 3.11.7. Just I will
Okay.
check what your version is. Yeah.
Okay.
From I mean, who joins from Francophone countries, please, speakers, I mean, French speakers, please, if you have any questions, you have to put your question in the chat. So Garba can help us to translate that one and ask Emmanuel and Gideon on it. Please don't be shy. Thank you.
Thank you, Kidia.
Thank you, Kylian.
Please, if you
Donc,
have
pour
any
ceux qui,
questions,
les francophones, au cas où vous avez des questions, vous pouvez poser dans le chat, comme ça, je vais traduire. Je vais faire de mon mieux pour pouvoir passer le message. Merci.
just a second, I'm updating my Python version. Okay. So I need to close this and then open it again. Okay. All right. So I'll still do a recap quickly since I've updated my version, and then we all see what happens when you update it. So I'm going to close, and then I'll get rid of this environment. Okay. I wouldn't get rid of this first. Let me create a new one. Is my terminal visible? Okay. All right. So I'll do the same thing I did earlier. So Python dash the virtual env, and then you do a geo env. And this will create my new virtual environment. Then I'll activate it by using source env, and I do Python dash version. Okay. So Gaba, what I was explaining the other just some minutes ago. You see now, because my Python version has been updated, my Python virtual environment for the GUI that I just created is now 3.12.6. But if I activate the old Django version I have, which I created before updating my Python version, and do the same command, Python version, you notice that it also comes with the Python version that we use to install that particular application. And this is very crucial because with each Python version has its own requirements. There are some new changes in the Python versions that allow new functionalities. And if you don't have the right Python version, you end up finding difficulties with the applications you're trying to run. Okay. This time I would install my Django. So installing the Django, I use the Python dash pip install Django without any version attached to it. And that is going to give me the most recent Django version, which is the 5.1.1. Okay. Can do a quick free. You click freeze. All right. So notice even this has lesser requirements than the audio, the old Django VM we had. Okay. So to confirm I have Django installed, I'll do Python dash m Django dash dash version. And that tells me the version of Django I have, which is the most recent one. So now I have Django installed, but I don't have my Django application yet. So what I would do now is to create my Django application. And with that, we use a command called Django admin. Django admin. And then we start a project. And then we name that the training training. First name that's pure for all right. So once I hit enter, it will create a folder for me called Geoportal. And when we look in this folder, we notice that we have a folder in there with the same name as our folder, Geoportal. And then we have the manage.py script. So to run the application, we use the manage.py file. That is what we use to run the application. It has a main function in there, it has the settings for our application. And then in this is just like the okay. All right. So our main focus is going to be on these two. So what I'll do is I'll open the GeoPortal folder, since that's what we want to use. So go into file, new folder. Oh, open the GeoPortal. Okay. All right. Now I have my virtual environment enabled and I have my Python application. So to run your Python application, we do a Python. And notice this time we are not going to use the Go Live. We do a Python manage.py. And then we do run server. And immediately we notice it gives us watching for file changes with state reloader, performing system checks. It has no issues with the system check. Just gives us a warning with the migrations, and then it tells us the date, and then tells us which settings file we are using for the Django, with the Django version, and tells us that we started our development server at the port 127.0.0.1 port 8000. So you can go into a browser and then do the same thing. So do a 127.0.0.1.8,000. And then now we have a Django application running. So once you see this, it says the install works successfully. Congratulations. I don't know if we are following along, but are we? Have we all been able to have get this screen?
It.
Okay.
So maybe your colleague can make the process on Windows because we are
Windows. Okay.
using
Okay. Yeah.
using the
That is great. Okay. So I'll stop sharing my screen and then he'll take over and do the same thing I did on Windows. All right.
Perhaps if you can send us you send us the code. If you send us this the terminals, what you done for environment creation and activation and so on, so we can run it. Thank you. Yeah, just you can paste copy everything.
All right, so I'll start with creating the Django application. I've already created my Django environment, the virtual environment, and it's already activated, as you can see down here. So I'll start with the creation of the Django project, which is for Windows. That's Django -admin start project. Then the name of the project, which I'll do day two. So with that, the day two project has been created. So this is the folder right here with everything in here already. So after that, in Windows, you type, so I'll cd into the folder, I'll just cd. Once I'm there, you can do Python manage.py run server. So it tells me it has been started on the local host right here. So if I should click on that, it opens in the browser for me. The installation worked successfully. Congratulations. So that's it for Windows. Have you all been able to run it? Is anyone facing any issues or any challenges so that we can all be on the same page? I I guess we've all been able to run it. Is that right?
Please, can you come again?
Okay, I should start all over again. Okay, all right. So
So what I want to do, like for example, when you have here is for day two. So now, for example, if I want to create another day, okay. So how can I do? I have to open one folder to follow the same process, or the first one instead is that it can allow me to continue to work
yes, you would have to create
on the
another folder and start afresh.
okay.
Create another project.
Okay.
So
Can you please do for day three? It can allow us to know, like we have to open the folder to create one by one file, or we just have to open one folder and start to do. Okay, good.
all right, so I'll clear my terminal and start creating day three. So I'll create a currently I'm in the day two folder, so I'll go back to my desktop and then create a day
Okay.
three
At
folder.
this stage, it means that you already at this stage it means that you already create your environment.
Yes, so I can use the same virtual environment, but I would like to create a different one because normally for every project you have to create a separate virtual environment for it. Because maybe you might not install the same packages in that particular project. So
Okay.
I'll create a new virtual environment for the day three. Let me deactivate this one.
Okay. Good.
So that's deactivate to deactivate the virtual environment. So that's been deactivated. I'll create a new project, which is make
Good.
dir day three. Then I'll change directory to the day three. So currently I'm in the day three folder. From there, I'll create my virtual environment, which is Python-m venv, then the name. So I can name it day three. Let me day three, okay. So that's a new virtual environment for just that project, which is day three project. So from there, I'll activate it.
So
Yes.
okay. So to allow easily to the participant to understand. So like for example, the first stage, when you say Kadira day three, what is the importance?
So that's the command for creating the virtual environment. So we are using Python to create the virtual environment. And so Python, PY, that's Python. And then the venv, that's virtual environment. You are telling Python that we want to create a virtual environment named, then the name of that particular virtual environment you want to create. That's day three. Is that okay? Did we all get that?
Okay, so another way to also say
Yeah, I
that
think the
is
activation, what you do, sorry, Manuel. Yeah, the activation, what you do, I think so. It's not based on window. Please, if you Gideon use the Windows, I think it's from, I think Mac activating.
Currently, I'm using Windows.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Emmanuel demonstrated.
Do you get my
before it show us? Anyways.
You get my idea. I think here, for example, for the first line, it shows us that you are working on a C drive. you use user. The context means that it's like you are the user, and you refer to the desktop.
Desktop.
So MacDir, what is it is the importance to write MacDir?
Then make the that's to create a folder. So just like going to your desktop and then clicking and creating a new folder. So let me say day 4. So that's the same thing we
Okay.
do in the terminal. So that's what came here. That's a day 3 when I did it to the terminal. So if you want to use the terminal to create a folder, you do make dir. That's make directory, create a new directory. That's the essence of the make dir.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to create a new folder for the day 3. Then the CD with a CD that's change directory into that particular folder. So day 3, double click to enter. So that's what I did here.
Okay.
Yes. So once in my day 3 folder, I created the new virtual environment for day 3 for that project.
Okay.
Let me just change the. So currently my day 3 folder is not showing here. To open my day 3 folder in a different VS Code, Visual Code terminal, I can just do code dot. So open a new terminal, a new VS Code window for me, giving me the day 3 projects. But if I want to add it to the day 2, I can just go to my file explorer and then drag and drop. So it asks you whether I want to add it to the day 2 folder. So that adds up to the day 2. So we have day 2 and day 3 here. But for it not to confuse me, I'll use the new one I did with the code dot. To open my terminal, Control Shift tilde. That opens a new terminal. That's a shortcut for opening a new terminal. Yeah, but if you want to also open, so with a shortcut, there's also another tab here at the top left, terminal. To open new terminal. That's a shortcut over there. Control Shift tilde. But I can click on that as well to open a new terminal.
As you see, as you can see here, also serial, you don't get you get errors. So serial, can you explain to them what you get error?
Yeah, hello, excuse me. I had an error, but currently I just deleted the environment and try to reinstall.
Or could you share your screen? Let me stop sharing so that I can share your screen. Then we divide it.
So you can continue. Okay.
If you could please share your screen.
Do you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Yeah. This is what I have when I try to this command.
So currently with PowerShell, I'm not able to tell whether the virtual environment has been activated. That's why I switched to the command prompt so that it shows you whether it has been activated or not. Could you
Yeah,
please
here
try
I
activating the virtual environment?
Yeah, here I install it.
So I think that would be web_training_env
Yep.
/script/activate VAT.
Yes.
I think this one is /. You are using the /. With Windows, you are supposed to use the /.
C'est l'autre barre là. C'est tout le problème.
Oui, oui.
Voilà. Utilise partout de l'autre côté aussi. Essaie maintenant.
Cyril, please, the extension should be .ps1.
Dot.
PS1. If you are using PowerShell, it should be PS1, and if you are using CMD, the command prompt it should be .bat. So PowerShell should be PS.
Dot. You say activate dot what?
PS1. So P for piano, S for song, then 1.
Like this.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Okay. 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 It's take time. I don't know. Yeah, I think we can continue the time that responds. Okay.
Sorry, Emmanuel, what's here for BAT or something is a stand for or PS1? What's that about?
Okay, so there are Windows has two command lines. So Windows has the command prompt, and then they have the PowerShell. So if you go to your start menu, you notice that you have the option to use either PowerShell or the command prompts. And then with the virtual environment model we use, so when we do the Python-M VENV, the -M specifies which model we want to invoke or call to run our commands. And the model we call is the virtual ENV, so the virtual environment, which has been cut short to VENV. So when we do that, it gives us the opportunity to create it for 3. So we will use Cyril's machine for a demonstration. So Cyril, can you please click on the arrow beside the web train ENV?
Yeah.
Yes, please. And then go into the scripts folder. So click on the arrow beside the script. Yes. So if you notice, we have one for activate, one for deactivate, and then for the activate, there are 2 scripts. We have the .bat and then .ps1, and we notice that you have different icons. You see, so this the capability of running in command prompt and also in the PowerShell. So to use the PowerShell, that is the PS1. So there's a PowerShell 1. And then for command prompts, it uses the BAT, which is a batch file. So that's the main difference. They perform the same action, but the only difference is which platform it activates.
I don't understand. You say?
So Kidia asked the question about the reason why we are using the .ps1
The PS1.
and then the activate.ps1 and the activate.bat. Why we are using PS1 instead of BAT like we did earlier. And I'm saying that when you go into the terminal, there are 2 types of terminal on Windows by default. We have the PowerShell and then the command prompt.
Yeah.
So for command prompt, you can go to where the terminal is at the bottom right-hand side. There's a plus icon with a down pointing arrow by it. Zero. So when you go down there, it tells you there are 2. There is a PowerShell, and then there's a command prompt. So I don't know if you can hear me and see, but then for command prompt, it mainly uses the .bat, which is the batch file. So it's a BATCH file, but then because of extensions, they changed it to BAT. So it's a batch file. So the BAT is for the command prompt, and then the PS1 is for the PowerShell. So, and to note, like to know if you are using command prompt, your shell will not have the PS in front, like we have seen in Cyril's command from the terminal, his PowerShell. If you notice, he has the virtual environment activated, which is the web_train_env, and then we have PS, which indicates PowerShell.
Okay.
Then you have the path where it is. So from a command prompt, it doesn't give you the PS there. So once you notice there is no PS there, it means you are running in command prompts. And then you would have to use the .bat.
Okay. I understand now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there any other question?
I think let's go with Cyril's sharing, and Cyril, you can run the Django.
Stop sharing.
Yeah. No, so you can
Yes,
stay
no,
and you can
proceed.
show you. Yeah.
So you can
I'm
just
also
close the
following.
hello world and then
Yeah.
we'll follow from
Yeah.
Cyril's screen.
Yeah.
Oh no, Cyril, please share.
Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
So now we have the Django installed, right? And we have our Django admin, which we use to create the geo portal.
Mhm.
So when you right click, when you click on the drop down arrow by the geo portal, you notice it has two files in there.
Yeah.
So it has the geo portal, which contains your default Django app, which has your settings, your URLs, your configurations to run the application. We will take each file individually and then explain it. But then to run the application, you would need the manage.py file. So when
Okay.
you go to the terminal, you type in Python manage.py.
Python.
Yeah, Python space manage.py. No, you need a space, please. Sorry. Python space manage.py. Then space run server. No, so you need a space run server.
You say .py and
Space run server.
space.
So Gideon has pasted it in the chat. Run server, RUN server. It should be one word. The run server is one word.
Like this. Oh.
Yes, like that.
Okay. Hmm.
Mm.
No
Oh,
social
yeah.
library.
Yeah, I think this is the error also for the same like me. Maybe we have to install Django before we create the virtual environment. Is that? Or it's not
Yeah.
directly
No,
generated from
I've
my the manage.py is not directly generated from my environment. So
oh no. So
maybe because I install it later on the Django. Maybe is that?
can you share your screen, Kidia, so that we look at yours? But I know what is wrong with Cyril's own. So Kidia, can you share your screen? We run through yours and then we'll proceed with
Yeah. All
what
right.
Cyril
One
was
moment.
facing. So we'll just use the
Yeah.
next 30 minutes to debug so that we are on the same page before
Yeah.
we proceed.
Can you see here mine?
Yes, I can
Because
see yours.
yeah, it's not manage.py is not directly come because maybe I installed recently my Django just after I create the
No, so
environment.
yes, so that is fine. So what happened here was you didn't activate your virtual environment. So your
I think
installation you did was
here.
in. So you need to activate your virtual environment.
I think I activated it. So
Yeah, so you are
maybe
using the .bat. So you need to use the
Job and
the
I think
PS1.
the scripts and what else activated.
Activate.ps1.
So maybe this is okay. Dot PS1. I think. Am I right here?
Yeah. Yes.
So I don't know what that is. Yeah. I think I have to create delete it and
No, you can do a
recreate.
capital A. I think it's capital A for the activate. Which folder are you in? Web training, Oh yeah.
Yeah, just is my own. I don't really follow from there.
No, that is
So
fine. We're on the same page though. Scripts, then the backslash, then capital A for activate.
Dot PS1.
Yes.
But I already activated before, with not PS1, but what is? Yeah, I activated here like this. It was bad.
No, so that didn't work. Because once you
Really?
activate it, it should. Yeah. So Kia, let's start all over. You can please select the GeoENV folder, and then let's
I
start
think that's how.
afresh.
Yeah, I'll do that there. So I will go to my folder and delete this environment. Okay.
Okay.
So now what I have to do
Yes.
is
So now you have to create the virtual environment. So you do.
go from. You
I
can tell me, or I
please-
can. Yeah.
I can tell you.
Yeah.
So you should do the Python space dash M space VENV.
Then portal.
GeoVENV. No, so GeoVENV. So that's the virtual environment.
Okay.
GeoVENV.
And
Then enter. Yeah. So the GeoVENV is just a virtual environment, and the name we give it, we can give it any other name.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you can drop down the scripts. Let's see what's in the script folder.
I think that's it. Yeah. It's loading.
Yeah, it's still loading, but you can click on the script folder.
Yeah.
In the left-hand side.
Okay.
So click on that, and then in the Explorer tab on the left-hand side.
What do you mean? Here?
Yes, the scripts. Yes, so the drop-down icon beside the scripts.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Okay. So now we have the PS1 there. So let's go and activate it.
Okay.
So
got you now.
go into the terminal, and then you type GeoVENV / scripts. I think you have a typo in the GeoVENV.
GeoVNV. Yeah, I think so. Sorry.
Yeah.
VENV.
/ scripts, and then capital A activate .ps1.
Yeah, activate. So I have to see always .ps1. Yeah.
You have a typo in there.
ps1.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think I know what is wrong here.
Yeah.
It is not the capital A.
No, it is the capital A.
Maybe let's do it with bar.
I think it's the this thing. Since it's an EquiStats machine, I think there's a permission on it that's restricting you from using the terminal.
Yeah. Maybe I have to allow it in the to run environment, maybe in my machine. I get it. Yeah, I remember. Maybe I have to allow Python to run on environment. I think so. To pass.
Right. So try opening command prompt as an administrator. So use the search button on the taskbar, then command prompt, and then run it as an administrator, and let's see.
Okay. Here you mean from my machine, I think. I think I will fix that one later on. So I will come just anyways. I'll follow based on the Cyril or Garba can share.
Okay.
I'll figure it out later. Good.
Okay. So let's continue and then fix your problem.
When I run it on this part, it's activated already. It says it didn't say anything, but
No, but when it activates, so one thing
Yeah.
you would note, you would see for it to tell you it has activated is you see the name of the virtual environment in your terminal. So I don't know if Cyril can share his screen. If he can't, then we will let Gideon share and then we do it from there.
I think Gideon, you can go ahead with it. Yeah.
So Gideon will share his screen and then I'll talk through what we are going to do. Okay, so if you have to start all over, so you can close the command prompt. Yeah, so create a folder, call it no. You need to clear what's in the day 2 and then let's use the day 2. Let's see what's in day 2. Yeah, so you can delete everything and then we'll start from scratch in the day 2. Okay, so open the day 2 in the Visual Studio Code. Yep. Okay, so from here, you notice he has his PowerShell. So can you point your mouse to where it indicates you have PowerShell? So you can see the PS in the corner, and then also at where you have your tab, you have PowerShell there. So that tells you are in PowerShell. So you have to use the .ps1. So here you create the virtual environment, which is the Python, a py or Python -m venv, and then puts in the environment. This is geovenv. And that will create the virtual environment for him. Once it's done, we are in PowerShell, so you can now activate it. So let's all notice at the left-hand side of his PS, there is no virtual environment name or nothing in a bracket there. It is just the PS and then the path to his file. So he will do the venv and do scripts and then do activate.bat. So PS1, sorry. Okay, so he is also facing the same problem. So try running to an administrator and let's see. Or change the command prompt. Okay. So venv scripts activate.bat. Okay. So Kidia, you can also try this and see. You can try using the plus icon where Gideon has his mouse. Click on it and then choose the command prompt from that side. and then you'd use the command he has in the on the screen to activate it. So please let us know if you've been able to do that.
Sorry, I missed it one time. Where I have to click?
So you click the down arrow
okay.
beside the plus icon to give you a drop down. They choose command
Okay,
prompt.
got it, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Then after you type in your command to activate the
All
script, that's govnv/script/activate.bat.
All
Since we
right.
are using command prompt, to use the .bat instead of the .ps1.
Peter, please, did that work for you? Do you have the govnv at the side?
I think it works now. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so since we have that activated now, we will now proceed to the next step, which is installing the Python the Django framework. So we can do the py or Python. Install Django first. So you do pip install, and then you do Django. So that gets you Django. And then from here, we check what Django version we have. So we do a py or Python -m Django, and then we do -- version. No, Django lowercase. So it's a small d here. So then when you see the numbers there, it means you have Django installed. So you currently have the Django 5.1.1 installed. And then
we don't spend.
It is Gideon who is sharing the screen. So we are trying to use the Windows to show the screen rather than the Mac, since we are all mostly on Windows.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just talking through what Gideon is doing. And that will make it easier for us. So we've all been able to get to this stage. The next thing we do is to start a project in Django. So we are starting a project using the Django framework, and the project is going to be called GeoPortal. So we say Django-admin space start project, then space the name of our project, which is going to be the GeoPortal. So I'll paste this command in the chat in case you need it. So when you're done, you hit enter to create the GeoPortal folder, which is your project folder. All right. So in here now, we notice we have two files. We have the GeoVNV, which is our virtual environment, and then we have the GeoPortal, which is our project itself. So, like I said, you need the manage.py file to run the project. And this is where we had the challenge when Cyril was presenting. So currently, when we look at our terminal, we are in the day 2 folder, but then our project is in the Geo portal folder. So that means we need to navigate into the Geo portal folder. So to do that, we need to cd then Geo portal. So that will put us into the root of our Geo portal folder. So currently, if Gideon can highlight it, he will show you on the left-hand side which folder we are in currently on the terminal. So on the left-hand side in the Explorer window, currently where he has his mouse is what we are in now. So now in there, we have access to the manage.py and then also our Geo portal, which is our Django app settings file. So let us try running the project and let's see. So we do the Python manage Python space manage.py, and then we do run server. Okay. It gives us we have 18 unapplied migrations, but it tells us at which particular port and IP our application, which is our developing server, is running on. So you can either do a control click to go to this link, or copy it and put it in your web browser and open that. So you can copy that, open your browser, and then open it in there. And then we have it. So have we all been able to get to this stage? Cyril and Kidia, please, have you been able to get to this point? You have a successful running Django application.
Give me 1 moment. So just I was in one moment. Just let me run.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
So what about Cyril?
So
Have you been able to run your
Python
application now?
manage.py run server. Is that I have to do that?
Yes. So let me add that command too. I think that command is already in the chat.
Yes,
So it's
it
Python.
works for me. Yeah. It works for
Okay.
me. Yeah.
Okay. What about Cyril?
Yeah, absolutely. It starts as and the install worked successfully. Congratulations. Yeah. For
Okay.
Python version 5.1. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll talk a little bit about the files we have in our project.
How
Which
about others? Guys, is it works for you or not? I mean, who is following on the? I mean, Cyril and Garba.
so you can send a reaction with a like if you've been able to.
Yeah,
do it.
it's work for me.
Yeah. How about others? So I think maybe from Bako's from who is show who is working for you, like this pages like the Django on the browser. It comes for successfully for you. Raise your hand. Yeah, like this. So now every time when we are working on it, that means when we develop in the Python backend, that means we'll see this page and it will update. Am I right, Manuel?
Yes, Kia. So we'll get to that. We'll get to creating our first app, and then we'll put the interface in there, and then we'll print something to the screen for us to all see.
So this is literally, we can say this is the app. Just we initiate
So
the
this
app
is
and
this
it
is
will
a
come what
this
we are
is just the
doing.
default Django.
Bernard,
now
Aduko, and others, I think Cyril is already say, Gerald also, if you have, if it's work for you, okay, unless we can really repeat it fast. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead.
Okay, so we'll go back to VS Code, and then I'll explain some of the things, the files that. So like I said, we started with the manage.py file. So the manage.py file is just a utility file that contains several ways to run our project. So we can run our server, we can do a collect static, we can run migrations on our databases, we can perform several actions, and all that is within the manage.py file. So it has a set of instructions in there that it uses to perform its commands, basically. Then we have the next file, which we'll talk about, which would be init, so init.py. So init.py file is just an empty folder, an empty file, which is required in every Python application. Once you have a folder in a Python application, you need the __init__.py, and that will initialize that folder as a Python directory or a Python package. The next file we'll talk about is the settings file. So our settings.py file contains every single setting you need for your Python application, your Django application, sorry. So every requirement settings you need to configure your Django application, you need the settings file. It needs to be in the settings file. So we'll take some of the key things in there, and then we'll move on to the next file we want to talk about. So first thing in there, we see that it has a comment at the top, which tells you that this file is the Django settings file for the project, which is the GeoPortal project. And then it was generated by using the command we see in the Django admin stats. And then it's telling you that we are using Django 5.1.1. So assuming I just give you this GeoPortal file, I zip it to you and give it to you through either GitHub or I email the app to you, but ideally through GitHub. Once you open that and you know it is going to be a Django application, the first thing you have to go and look for is the settings.py file. And that will tell you which Django version you need to install in your virtual environment to run this app. So that is just a hint for you to know that if this file was just given to me on GitHub and I need to run the file, how do I run it? I need the Django version 5.1.1 installed for me to be able to run it. Then from there, on line 16, we have our base directory. So the base directory is basically the parent or the root of our project. So that one is a default setting by Django that sets up for us to tell us that first outer geoportal file, our outer geoportal folder is, so that folder is our root folder for our application. So that is the whole folder for application. And then everything within there follows after we use the variable, the base directory. So like I explained earlier in the Python quick introduction, the left-hand side has the variable name, and then the right-hand side after the equal to sign is what is assigned to it. So now this is a fancy way of assigning the root folder to the base directory variable. The next thing we'll tackle or talk about is number 23, the line number 23. That is a secret key. And then for all of us following along, we notice that we all have different secret keys. And in the secret key, it tells us that Django-insecure. So as a security feature, if you are updating or putting your application, your Django application online, you need to change the secret key. You don't have to use the same secret key as you have on your online application. Reason being that for authentication, security purposes, and then also user session management, Django encrypts all this using your secret key. If you have your secret key online or shared on GitHub, and then I, for instance, clone the application into my local machine, and then I have access to your database or your database configurations, I can use the secret key to authenticate myself into your application without having access to your application. Once I have the Django secret key, I can authenticate myself in there. So when you decide on putting your application into a production state, a production server, or you want to make it live for everyone to see, you need to ensure that you go through some of the deployment checklists. And one of them is to change your secret key from insecure to a secure secret key. We'll talk about number 26. The number 26, line number 26, is just a debug feature. So if you put debug to true, it tells you are running in development. And this will essentially give you all the errors you encounter. So if you enter a wrong URL, it will tell you. So if you put in a wrong URL, it will tell you that you have. So once you see this screen, it tells you are running in development. And then it says, even at the bottom, that you are seeing this error because you have debug as true. If you don't want to see any error screens, which is advisable if you are in production, is to change the debug from true to false, essentially telling the application that you are running in a production state. So we can do that and have a look at what happens. Once you save the file, pardon?
I don't know if the other participant see your screen, but my side, I don't see your screen. Okay. At the same time, it is the time for the end of this session. I think we made 3 sessions. It remains 3 sessions. So here, how many people have Mac OS? Can you raise your hand, those who have Mac OS? Because I think if Emmanuel, you are maybe the only one who have Mac OS here. So all the other participants are using Windows. So I think for the next session, you have to see how we can more work on Windows than Mac, because I think the process are not the same. Maybe it is only for the this stage, instead of Django, but maybe after the other process are going to be the same. Thank
Yes,
you.
I understand.
Gideon,
What about
do you have
Linux?
something?
Yeah.
Does anyone
I think
else use?
For
let's
Linux,
continue.
I
Half past
think,
one. I think so.
okay. For Linux, if those who want to work on Linux, maybe even though on Windows they can do that by install through Microsoft Store the Linux. It is possible. I used to do that for PostGIS. So right now we can focus our working on Visual Code on Windows. As you start to do that. Kidia, what do you say? Can you come again,
What do you
Kidia?
think if we start to use our lunchtime and meet at 1:30 and keep the lecturing, the shows and afternoon session?
It depends to the other participant. What do you think? Okay. Emmanuel, what do you think for Kidia proposition?
I think we can break and come back at 1:30
Okay.
and then we proceed.
Okay. Okay. Kidia, is it okay for you?
Yes, Garba, we have to stick with the timing, you know. Let's the audience, the train is to have a lunch and meet at 1:30.
Okay,
Jim.
good. Thank you. Okay. So we stop here and we'll make in 1 hour. Donc, on recommence dans 1 h 30. Monsieur Bako, vous êtes avec nous? Je vais arrêter l'enregistrement. Donc, on va se retirer pour revenir dans 1 heure de temps. Dans 1 h 30.